Hey guys, what's going on today? It is Fat Matt, and DLC 4 is upon us. This is crazy. The grand finale for Call of Duty Zombies is coming up, and I'm honestly just really excited now. Before this video starts, I want to give a shout out to my friend Tim Hansen, because I was in one of his videos. It was super awesome, and I was getting subs from it, so I feel like I just need to say thank you for letting me be in that video, and if you guys haven't already, check him out. I'm a lot smaller, so you guys probably all know who he is, but just a little PSA, I want to put that out there before the video starts. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, this is going to be a top 5, but it's not going to be in any specific order. But the first thing I want to see on DLC 4, aka Day of the Dead, or Tag der Toten, whatever you want to call it. Super excited. We're going back to Siberia. We're returning to Call of the Dead, man, and it's gonna be really excited. Anyway, one thing I would really like to see in this map is a return of Juggernog, and I know this isn't really possible, and we have a lot of other things that replace Jug, but if we can just get Jug as a little side DLC to this map, or like they just give us an actual Juggernog machine, and that could be like the permanent 5th perk, like let's say you fill up your 4, and it's just regular, and then you drink Jug and it goes to the side like a normal plus perk would. I just feel like that would be really awesome, and it bumps your health up by 50 or 100. It doesn't have to be anything ridiculous. It would just be really nice to get a callback to it. And the next thing I want to see in this map are staffs. Now, I know it's really not likely we're going to see staffs, because people have leaked that there's going to be 4 elemental scavengers. I honestly find that a little disappointing, because we got 4 elemental Mark IIs and they were cool, but they weren't really like anything mind-blowing. I would love to see the ultimate staffs. I highly doubt we're going to see it, but that's something I really hope to see, because we never got to see the full power of the staffs. And even if we see them in a cutscene, I'd be happy, but it'd be really awesome to get them in game one last time, because we got them in BO3, but they weren't all that, you know what I mean, right? Like, Alright boys, this is coming through in the post-production. I just wanted to say, I would love to see the staffs in the map. And what I say later in the video, a little self-contradicting to what I just said, but let me just clarify. I think it would be amazing if we saw the staffs in the boss fight. Like, they don't have to be the main wonder weapon throughout the whole map, but at the end of the game, or the end of the Easter egg, when you go into the boss fight, I think it'd be really sick if we went to the pedestals, grabbed the ultimate staffs, and did the boss fight with them. But they don't have to be the constant wonder weapon throughout the map. And then the third thing I want to see is like a tribute or a return of George Romero, because he did pass away this year. And, it's really sad, because in Call of the Dead, the map that's pretty much the apprentice to this one, it was just, like, he was such a cool aesthetic to have in the game. He was an awesome boss. He was really hard to kill, and it was rewarding, because if you kill him, you get a death machine or a wonder waff. And I feel like if they just paid tribute to him, they had, like, a picture of him or a mural somewhere on the map, I don't think they're going to bring him back as a boss, because that would come off as a little disrespectful. But I want to see some sort of tribute to him, because I feel like that'd be really cool, because the map's inspired by him. He made, I think it was Night of the Living Dead. I want to say that's the classic title. I could be wrong, or it's Day of the Dead. And if it's Day of the Dead, that's perfect. But he made one of those really classic zombie horror movies, and he was really like the foundation of zombies. And this is it. This is like the finale of Call of Duty Zombies. So I feel like a tribute to him would be absolutely amazing. Plus, he was part of the Call of the Dead. Now, this is a little stupid, but the second to last thing I want to see on this map is a CGI cutscene. Now, I know that could come off as a little ridiculous, but throughout all of Black Ops 3, all of the cinematic cutscenes were CGI. And if you guys don't know what that means, it means they use the real in-game character models and kind of shot it like a movie, with the exception of the Der Eisendraht intro cutscene. But I think that's the only cutscene in that whole game that is not CGI. But, we have these beautiful cutscenes that have so much meaning behind them. The music, the choreography, the cinematography. It really is beautiful for a video game. And just for them to take it out in these last couple Aether maps is really sad, because you could just tell that the budget's declining. Look at the classified outro cutscene. That's some bullshit. That's a cage and 4 people. Like, that is a terrible cutscene. I'm sorry. It's cool story-wise, but the design of it, fucking gross. And, Blood of the Dead has one of the best outro and intro cutscenes I've ever seen. You could tell they had a really high budget when this game started, and then it just started steadily declining when we're getting fucking comic book, cutscenes nowadays. But we need this grand finale. Honestly, I'm expecting at least a 5-minute cutscene. Like, this is it, man. This is the finale. The end of Call of Duty Zombies. We need a nice build-up. We need to see the Great War. They need to tell us a lot with this last cutscene, and I feel like it needs to be CGI. And if it's not, that's a huge letdown. But I guess we'll see, because you never know with budgeting, and it really, if they don't have the money to do it, you can't blame them. But I feel like it's almost a necessity at this point that we get a movie-style outro, because this is it, man. I know I've said it a million times. End of Call of Duty Zombies and a little cinematic. it should be an actual cutscene. Because the Alpha Omega one was cool, but it was cartoon. It's like, come on, guy. Like, it could be better. And I don't even think the Alpha Omega intro cutscene was supposed to be the intro cutscene. I feel like that was a trailer, and they're like, shit, we can't finish this intro. We're throwing this as it. And I also want to bring up a point is I don't know who is going to be the crew that we're playing as, because they could mix Victus, Ultimus, and Primus together and just have us starting up the game with random ones, but I feel like that's a really awful way to go about it. And if they do that, you should be able to pick what character you play as. But I think the best way to balance out the character playability is like, you spawn in, like, it makes sense, it lines up with the lore. Like, you spawn in with Ultimus, and the story starts out with Ultimus doing something, and then, you know, they get stuck, and they have to pass the reins on to Victus. Like, let's say Ultimus dies or something, they pass the reins on to Victus, you take over as Victus, you get as much of the mission done as possible, or the Easter egg, and then they die, or get stuck, or do whatever they have to do, and then Primus takes over and ends it. And, like, I feel like that'd be really, really cool if they kind of had a stepping stone, and they really made the playable characters have a part in the lore. Because in Alpha Omega, it's just random. And like in the lore or the story, there's 8 people on Alpha Omega in that boss fight. There's all 8 of them doing that. But for client side of the player, it's just 4, and it's random who you're playing as. So it's kind of bullshit, and it's kind of hard to understand that that's happening. So I feel like if they had some fluidity with the playable characters, it could really, really, really help. Because if they just have 12 people and, you know, it's random every game, like you can get fucking Misty and then Richtofen, and it's just like these quotes are going to be a mess. So they need to organize the playable characters a little bit, because we know Victus is going to play a part in this map, and we already know Primus and Ultimus are as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got a call back to the Call of the Dead. Now, the last thing I want to see, I know this is kind of contradicting because I said I wanted to see staffs, but I need a completely original badass zombies wonder weapon. We haven't had an original one in so long. Like, all the chaos ones are meh, but we need, like, do you guys remember back in the Black Ops 1 days when you got a thunder gun out of the box, or a Wonder Waff out of the box? I need that feeling of a weapon again. I need to get this gun out of the box, or gain it through, you know, building it, because I think building it's great, because it makes sense. And, you know, you should do a lot of difficult challenges to earn your wonder weapon. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. But it's the fucking finale, so I don't care what they do. I just need this badass, original Wonder Waff Thunder Gun type shit. Because if we just come out and we get 4 elemental scavengers, I'm going to be so disappointed. But here's what I'm thinking in my head. We get this really, really sick original wonder weapon, and I think there should only be one on this map. Usually I'm all for having 4 elemental wonder weapons, but it's oversaturated. Ancient Evil did it amazingly. Alpha Omega did it in an interesting way. I didn't mind it, but it was weird. It was really cool because, you know, Ray Gun Mark 2 is fucking badass, and the quests are amazing. But I feel like we just need this one mystery box badass wonder weapon. Like, you know, it just needs to be this 115 infested weapon that's all glowing, and it shoots this magical shit, and it needs to work, man. And I think we also need a Ray Gun Mark 1 and 2 on this map, just because I feel like that's a given, though. So let's do a little breakdown. If we get Juggernog back, some CGI cutscenes, completely badass original wonder weapon, and, you know, the fluidity of the playable characters makes sense, I feel like all this could make a really, really nice map. And we also need new areas on Call of the Dead. We can't just get the original map and then some, if that makes sense. We need this thing, like, blown apart. Like, it can have a similar layout to Call of the Dead, but it needs to be different. Because what Alpha Omega did was awesome, but it still felt stale for some reason. Like, I still feel like I'm running around Nuketown. They need to do this differently somehow, and I don't know how they're going to do it. Either way, I'm really excited. Thank you guys for coming out and watching the video. Let me know what you think DLC 4 needs to be amazing. I laid out some topics. I don't think these were amazing in-depth things, but these are just some things, you know, I'd like to see. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.